Coming up on this episode of Outlook TV, Montreal Pride had a week's worth of performances.
Being free to be fabulous.
The Illusion Spectacular at Montreal Pride, and much, much more. Hello and welcome to Outlook TV. I'm Rebecca Wyman.
And I'm Robert Mackay, and you're watching the Queer Magazine news show that brings you the stories that matter the most from coast to coast.
Let's start out by being free to be fabulous at Bar XY in Vancouver.
A fabulous fundraiser for Rainbow Refugee.
Kittens, we have a fundraiser of all fundraisers today. It is the Rainbow Refugee fundraiser. Free to be fabulous, kittens. That's right, my darlings. I have got Peach Cobbla and Carlotta Girl, and they're both hosting this fabulous Cavalcade of Stars. We're raising money and raising awareness for people all around the world. So let's get a little sit down with those people, and you'll see what we're here for. Watch this.
Last year we raised $11,000 and all that money went to Rainbow Refugee and Rainbow Railroad. This year we're focusing on Rainbow Refugee specifically because they're local, they're volunteer run. All the money raised is going directly to helping those that are in need.
Rainbow Refugee is an organization that I hold very, very deep to my heart. My mom was a refugee to this country. The only reason I am in this country is because the country was welcoming refugees from other parts of the world that were in crisis, and I very much believe that for queer populations who are very much at risk in a lot of places on this planet, it's vital that we as a community put our money where our heart is and come out to events like this to support a volunteer-run organization that is doing a world of good for people.
It's amazing to think that, you know, many like different places away from us, our works and deeds can impact someone else in a faraway country who needs to come to a place where they feel they belong and they're respected and they're loved. And to be able to do that with what we're doing here today is an amazing, huge feat.
Being gay is not the most exciting thing about your life.
No, yeah.
There's so many more other things, but that is so much a part of your identity that if you can't even express yourself as your identity, you can't do or explore or learn about all the other things. The ripple effect of your kindness and your action really matters. Everything that you do matters because you don't know how you're gonna have a reach in your life. No idea. Sometimes I am puzzled, like, you know, I did a thing in 2013 and then like to this day, I still get a message from a random teenager from Egypt.
Yes. We did feel the love, we did feel the energy, and it is going to ripple across the world because every deed that you enter in with a pure heart of love and understanding, and I want you to leave you with this message. I want you to think higher and feel deeper. Ladies and gentlemen, I am still your intrepid reporter, the unstoppable Connie Smudge, reporting for Outlook TV. Yeah!
Let's head to Montreal and check out some of the performances at the Pride Festival there.
When you're that artsy and you're that full of pride, it takes a whole week to show it off in performances. Let's see.
The Montreal Pride Festival offers a lot when it comes to free live entertainment. When choosing a local artist or an international act like RuPaul's Drag Race Queens, the organizers of Montreal Pride always make sure to showcase diversity.
Less heartless coward with no power. That's just another trick of his. He ain't no whistle, don't feed his fire.
Doing our best to put the spotlight on people of color, and especially not only to put the spotlight but to give a voice, but we don't want to talk for people of color, but I want to make sure that all the people of color that are involved with Montreal Pride have the occasion to speak and to be here, to be heard.
We're putting women at the forefront this year, and Pride is fully behind everything that is about equality is at Pride. And despite the fact that we're here to celebrate who we are and our authentic selves, we're still emphasizing on the causes that drive us. And that, it makes me emotional. It's really important, and I'm really happy that this year we're doing this and we keep on doing it.
As a Lebanese Canadian singer, as you know, it's very difficult, and it's very hard to be a gay in the Middle East. So I won't choose my songs, as a singer, my talent, to prove to everybody, to the world, that we need to be proud. And as a Lebanese, I'm very proud to be here.
I started doing drag 10 years ago, and I've seen a lot of Spice Girls show, and my dream was to be part of one. The best way of being part in something is when you make it your own. So I start doing all the costume, all the copy, and I build the whole show.
Starting to get more known for our outdoor shows, especially the one on Thursday, Drag Superstar, which showcase about 40 drags from RuPaul's Drag Race, so people are really excited by this show.
For OutlookTV, this is Ollie in Montreal's Gay Village.
It's time for us to take a little break.
I need to set these lights to old age intensity level so you don't see all this.
Shut up, you youngster. Welcome back to Outlook TV.
Up next, artist Adrian Stimson puts a little raciness into native mythology.
Napi is the trickster in the Blackfoot tradition, and he painted him naked.
We're at the Sum Gallery in Vancouver for Adrian Stimson's opening of his exhibit, Naked Napi, that runs from September 6th to December 8th, and we're going to meet him and find out what it's all about. Come join us.
We in the Blackfoot have a character. He's kind of he's not really our god, but he's the creator of many things. But he's also a bit of a trickster, because once he created everything, he started toying with it. And so in a way, he's become, there are many Napi stories, and usually they're very funny, kind of irreverent, have sexual connotations, you name it. There's many stories. And usually those stories are just basically on ways of telling us how to live. So he's a bit of a contrary, and he sort of does things one way to show another way of being. And so for me, it was an opportunity to sort of look at my own Blackfoot history and stories and try to bring Napi, who's sort of a historical figure, into the contemporary world. So I started thinking about how I could bring Napi forward. And so this exhibition is a result of that research, one, into those stories, and also from a queer perspective, bringing that into it as well. Because, you know, Napi is not static, he's dynamic, and should represent our times. So for me, as a Black person, in bringing this forward, hopefully I'm carrying Napi into the future, into our minds and hearts and spirits. I have a alter ego or performance character by the name of Buffalo Boy. That came about after, during my master's, when I was studying the history, in particular, of Buffalo Bill and his Wild West shows and the spectacle of it. So part of it was to sort of bring it into contemporary issues and start to look at how a particular character could talk back to those issues. So Buffalo Boy was born, and specifically Buffalo Boy is a campy, in quotation marks, Indian cowboy. So he plays with the sort of history of colonialism and stereotype, and using humor in particular to tackle those issues. I'm most recognized for my paintings of bison in the landscape, and usually juxtaposed with some sort of resource development, be it pipeline or agriculture and such. And when I started painting these, I started using black graphite powder mixing with titanium white oil paints and sort of getting all the different values. And I really like that effect. So they kind of became my signature. But I think, like all painters, challenging myself to try other ways of paintings, and this particular new group of work that I've done is all in color.
For Outlook TV, this is Angus Pratt at Adrian Stimson's Naked Napi exhibit in Vancouver.
Let's take a look at all the diversity in families in the West End of Vancouver.
A photo book launch occurred there and shows so much and so many kinds of families.
We are gathered today at the Gordon Neighborhood House for the release of the book Families of the West End, created by community ally Catherine Gibbons. This book has been created for children to showcase the diversity of the families in our neighborhood. To celebrate the release of the book, Catherine has organized Kids and Queens with Mina Mercury for the first reading of the book.
It's all pictures of all the different families that live in the West End.
The book is 24 images of families from the West End, and it's a wordless picture book, but as the saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. We have straight families with kids, gay couples with fur babies, a lesbian couple with their 2 children. We have a building family. I would say that's pretty common and unique in the West End, where we have a lot of multifamily homes.
What I love about the West End is that you are able to have this tight-knit, family-friendly community in the heart of a city. And one of the things that this book can do is show our children and children everywhere that storybooks don't need to only take place on farms or in, big houses with white picket fence. There's families everywhere, and urban families are diverse and interesting and wonderful. And my family's part of that. We are a same-sex couple with 2 children. This is a gay hub of Vancouver, so having that be a part of it is very important.
This is my friend Ricky.
The idea for the book was really Catherine's passion project. She always dreamed of having something that represented this very special neighborhood. It's not just you walk down the street and it's just a rainbow of people who live in the West End, and she wanted to just show how well it works. And we don't just ignore each other. People embrace each other here and support each other and their choices.
Rainbow arches, joyful marches.
I got basically given a list over 2 days of who I'd be shooting and literally running around the West End trying to catch all the different groups of people, whether it was meeting together with them in a church or outside in people's homes, in a park, in an allotment. And so just getting people comfortable with me as much as possible before taking their pictures.
And what do you think of the idea of creating a book for the families in the West End?
It's awesome. I'm so excited to have a look through it and see all the photos and see if I can find any familiar faces.
This is me and my grandma.
For Outlook TV, this is Ollie at the Gordon Neighborhood House in the West End.
We're going to have to take another little break now.
That's our second break, Rebecca. The show's almost over.
It'll be okay. There's way more stories to come.
Okay.
Welcome back. You're watching Outlook TV.
Up next, you better have your prize-winning ham ready because it's out at the fair.
Pull up your rainbow socks and get to it.
Hee-haw!
Hi there, viewers. We're at the Pacific National Exhibition, and it's Out at the Fair Day. And if you buy a pair of these fabulous rainbow socks, like I'm doing now, you get into the fair for free. How can you lose? Let's go check it out.
Oh, we're here at the PNE selling rainbow socks and having Out at the Fair Day, so we're really excited to be here. We're going to sell all 1,000 pairs of them. Haha. And then they did let us know that we can let an additional 2,000 people in if they make a donation to VPS today. So lots of support for our LGBTQ community from the PNE.
Anything we can do to support Vancouver Pride or the LGBT community, because I have family members that are part of the community, and that's why we're here.
Why is this important to you?
Well, there's a lot of inequality. A lot of people get hurt by not doing this. I'm actually a teacher, so it's a big part of my class so that I tell them to support and stand out for things. So it's important that I also walk the walk that I'm telling other people. And it's been something I've done since I'm a teenager, so that's why I buy these and support them.
We're here today at Out on the Fair representing Vancouver Pride Society, and we are just excited to tell people what we're about, how they can volunteer, and give them a chance to stop by, play a little trivia game, or make a button. We have a duck trivia game. You can pick a duck, which corresponds with a number. We will ask you a skill testing question, a trivia testing question, and you can win one of our prizes, rainbow flags and pens.
Making buttons with attendees of the event.
What sort of buttons are you making?
We're doing pronoun buttons, he, she, they, them, and you can make your own. And then we're also have buttons for our theme, Be You, as well as you can kind of create your own and color your own designs.
Why do you think the PNE is so supportive of Pride?
Well, I think that everyone in the community is realizing that making a stand, making a public stand is important. We still have incidents of discrimination. We heard about that recent suicide of a 9-year-old boy who came out as gay, and so we still have work to do. And I think organizations like the PNE, by making this very public stand today, just add to the education for the community and acceptance and awareness.
This has been John Crossan with Outlook TV, and we're at the Vancouver's Pacific National Exhibition at Special Day Out at the Fair, and we've been selling tons of socks to raise money for Pride. Thanks for watching.
It's time for Angus to check out the Vancouver Fringe Festival's queer content.
He had wonderful conversations with everything from your average performer to women in vagina bodysuits. Let's see what it's all about.
It's Fringe Festival time again here in Vancouver, and we're at Performance Works on Granville Island to meet some of the artists and performers for 2018. Come join us.
We see a lot of LGBTQ shows in the Fringe. You know, that might not necessarily be programmed in other places, and it's great to have a number of those shows in the festival this year, and every year actually we do have a good representation.
Big queer Filipino karaoke night. I know it's a handful. Yeah. So yeah, it's about my first experience as someone of Filipino descent, going to the Philippines for the first time, and really finding out that I had family I didn't know that existed, and really seeing how my identity as a queer person, as an artist, meld with my Filipino identity. I decided that I was gonna lean into my drag and my clown background and create this show, this moment of sharing with my story with the audience.
I'll just be honest with you. It's the last night in my vaudeville theatre, and I can't bear to tell the audience the news, so I just sort of keep, you know, bringing out different acts like Tommy and Ronnie Kalani, the wonderful ventriloquist act. And then in the back, I do little odes to what we all miss about vaudeville, what we lost in vaudeville. But it just keeps getting raunchier and weirder, and it's really just trans and queer propaganda.
Well, lip service is a very great service, as we all know, and so we're here to give to all.
Oh, I just think that you should know how much we're going to be giving to you, how much you will be receiving, and how much you'll be coming to our show.
What if he can't make me come? Is he the one? Probably not.
A one-woman queer clown sex ed show. So we do talk about queer stuff, but we also talk about like everything that's just not penis and vagina sex. So like we talk about that a little because people do that. We talk about everything and everyone that gets left out of your standard sex ed. So that includes queer people and gender diverse people. Like this is my vulva puppet, and their name is Vinny, and they use they/them pronouns because anyone can have a vulva.
I'm afraid that I'd drive you away, that you'd leave me.
Because you're gay and bone boys?
Trevor is a man who's in a relationship with Margaret, and yet he has sex with men, and Margaret finds that totally acceptable within their relationship. It's about Trevor's relationship with Margaret and what love means, and his relationship with his father, and how love in a family is different in that way too.
For Outlook TV, this is Angus Pratt at the Fringe Festival 2018 in Vancouver.
Let's head to Montreal and check out the illustrious Illusions show.
And in addition to the smoke and mirrors, we also got a bit of historical perspective on the drag history in Montreal.
The city of Montreal is kicking off its Pride festivities with a spectacular show, Illusion. Organized and directed by Michel Dorion, Illusion has become a staple in the Montreal community, and it features some of the city's premier performers. Michel Dorion has kindly agreed to sit with us to talk about the show and about his 30 years in the drag industry.
carrière a commencé par hasard en 1900.
My career began by coincidence in 1988 when I was 18 years old. I went out to a bar with friends and I saw for the first time a drag queen show. They were calling an amateur contest. I enrolled and I won. Then I decided to take this route and try to do this job as a career, and now it's been 30 years this year. I would say that it's a follow-up to the show Mascara that Mado Lamotte did back in the days for Diversity Festival. Like the show was not existent anymore, that was paying tribute to local drag queens in Quebec. We took over the concept and we made some modifications. It became the spectacle Illusion that showcases lots of artists, drag queens, drag kings, hyper queens. This year we're about 156 on the show.
The favorite thing about drag is doing all the looks, preparing the looks, making them amazing, unique. So for everyone to remember me, to be like, yeah, she did the face, the hair, the clothes, and she's wearing the highest shoes in the world.
I don't really have a character that really looks like me, so I adapted to my kind of person that I am. So a little bit naughty, a little bit glamorous, a little bit trashy, a little bit with an edge.
In Illusion, we believed it was important to showcase drag kings and hyper queens. We are in Montreal. It's a francophone city, and drags don't have the tendency to do numbers in French. It's mainly Anglophone, and the public is francophone, so I thought it would be pleasant for them to have a little moment in French in the show. For Outlook TV, this is Ollie at Parc des Faubourgs in Montreal.
Alas, that is all the time we have for this episode of Outlook TV, but fear not, we will be back shortly.
Yarr, and there's more social media where you can catch us. Facebook, Twitter, you name it. Isn't that right?
I don't know what happened to Robert. The pirates must have gotten him.
True.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Rebecca Wyman.
And I'm Robert Mackay.
Stay fabulous, Canada.